Good afternoon. We're at Calandra Williams' residence to perform a repair assessment to the roofing system. It is about 2:15 in the afternoon, 80 degrees and overcast. First thing I want to point out here is the damaged shingle we will be performing the assessment to. As you can see, it's unsealed, clear crease going across. I do want to document the condition of the shingles around the damaged shingle. No visible granule loss or creasing to any tab around the damaged shingle. Next, we're going to come over here to my marking key. This is to tell you what the chalk colors mean as we go through this assessment. Any yellow chalk is going to be for outlines, any blue chalk is going to be for creasing, any green chalk is going to be for mat transfer, any orange chalk will be for any tears, and at the end of the assessment, any pink chalk will denote damaged material. First, here are the tools I'm going to be using. Standard speed square, standard putty knife, a small pry bar, a soft bristle brush, and a standard roofing hammer. Now here, we're going to be using our soft bristle brush to show the current condition of the shingles as far as granule loss goes. I'm going to lightly brush across the shingle. As you can see, there are some granules that are falling away. Next, I'm going to pass my phone back to my partner. I'm going to begin marking my layout of shingles and explaining why they will be involved in this repair assessment. So to remove this shingle from the roofing system, I have to unseal the additional 2 tabs of the shingle as well as the tabs of the shingles above to access the fasteners. Your standard 3-tab shingle is 36 inches wide by 12 inches tall. So we got 36 inches wide. Now 12 inches tall means that the top edge of the shingle is actually right here. The nail line is below the sealant of the shingle directly above the damaged shingle. Therefore, those nails actually penetrate the damaged shingle and have to be removed to remove that shingle from the roofing system. So next, I'm going to find my lay pattern so I can illustrate the shingles. This one begins here, directly below the damaged tab. That's going to be shingle 1. Shingle 1 is involved because it has the potential to have mat transfer from the 2 shingles that need to be unsealed of the damaged shingle. Directly to the right of the damaged shingle, we have shingle 2. Shingle 2 also has potential for mat transfer from having to unseal the tabs of the shingle directly above the damaged shingle. Shingle 3 is directly above the damaged shingle and has the potential to sustain all 3 types of damage: creasing and granule loss from having to manipulate the tab, mat transfer from having to unseal the tabs, and tearing from accessing the fasteners below and above. Shingle 4 is 2 rows above the damaged shingle. It also has the potential for all 3 types of damage. I have to unseal all 3 tabs to access the fasteners. I have to manipulate them to reach the fasteners and then reattach. And it could also sustain tearing during that manipulation. Shingle 5, only half of the right tab is directly above the damaged shingle. However, there could be mat transfer or creasing from having to access the fastener below this. It could also have tearing from having to manipulate that shingle. Shingle 6 is directly to the left of the damaged shingle. Like shingle 2 and 1, it has the potential to sustain mat transfer as I have to unseal the right tab of shingle 5 to access fasteners. Shingle 7 is below the damaged shingle. Now, most likely the shingle won't sustain any damage as the tab that is damaged is already unsealed, so you won't have any mat transfer there, but I still need to mark that it is involved in this repair because it is touching the damaged shingle. So next, I'm going to blow off my excess chalk. Then I'm going to begin using my pry bar or my putty knife to unseal the tabs that need to be unsealed. my speed square to be able to lift the tabs up to access the fasteners, and my small pry bar to remove those fasteners from the roofing system. All the tabs that need to be manipulated are now unsealed. So next I'm going to begin removing my fasteners. Did have a tear occur on the damaged shingle here. All the fasteners have now been removed. I want to take a closer look at the sealant line up on top of the damaged shingle to see if there's any mat transfer that occurred. I also want to illustrate, as you can see here, the fastener did penetrate the top edge, telling why we have to go 2 rows above the damaged shingle. And we do have extensive mat transfer going all the way down the shingle in every area of sealant. So the bottom edge of shingle 3 and shingle 5 is now compromised. Will not be able to reseal. If we look at the back of the shingle, we can see very clearly this is a CertainTeed 3 tab. We'll take a look at the bottom edge to see if there's any mat transfer occurred. This tab down here was the damaged tab. And there's multiple areas where material, especially right here, zoom in on that, has transferred across, making that sealant area no longer viable. Again, here you can clearly see the fibers in the shingle. Again, this is the rightmost tab of the shingle, which wasn't unsealed. So now I'm going to get some photos of this damage. I have close-ups. Now we are going to reintroduce this shingle into the roofing system and reattach it with fasteners. Also want to illustrate, if you can get close on this, the tear that occurred, showing the brittleness of the shingle itself and the keyway. So the first thing I want to do here is show the minimum shingle lift required to correctly attach fasteners to the roofing system. Manufacturer's specifications require that the fastener be attached flush below the sealant line and above the exposure of the shingle. So if I'm in that area, you can clearly see that it is. That would prevent me from making a clean strike on the top of the fastener and being able to attach it correctly. To illustrate this further, with the nail in the correct placement and the hammer on top of the nail, you can see that it is sitting past the head of the hammer, which means I have to manipulate this shingle further than 45 degrees. Now with just a light brush, you can see those granules already starting to fall away. And that problem is only going to be exacerbated as time goes on. Bless you. Thanks. Now we're going to reintroduce the fasteners to the second row of shingles. Again, using my soft bristle brush, like I used on my granule loss test area earlier. I'm going to lightly brush the shingles that were manipulated to see if any granules fall away. So a few on that one, a couple on that one. So we do see evidence of a crease beginning to form. You can see the granules falling away on their own. Next, I'm going to redraw my chalk outline and then beginning marking the damage with the correct colors. Shingle 1, sustained mat transfer with the damaged shingle above. I will be boxing the mat transfer and then doing small X's below to show the locations. Next, using my orange chalk, draw a box around where the tear occurred. And using my blue chalk, I'm going to mark any creasing. Finish my outline. Now I'm going to take photos of all the individual damage as well as views of the shingle. mat transfer in 5 areas with the sealed tabs of the damaged shingle. Shingle 1 is now damaged because that sealant line can no longer seal as the manufacturer intended. It is now damaged per Georgia Code 2018 IRC 908.5, which states you cannot reuse damaged aggregate material. Shingle 2 is now damaged. It's sustained mat transfer with shingle 3 above. Shingle 2 is now damaged, must be replaced per Georgia Code 2018 IRC 908.5, which states you cannot reuse damaged aggregate material. Shingle 3, sustained creasing to all 3 tabs, as well as mat transfer with shingle 4 above and the damaged shingle below. Shingle 3 is now damaged, must be replaced per Georgia Code 2018 IRC 908.5, which states you cannot reuse damaged aggregate materials. Shingle 5, 2 rows above the damaged shingle, sustained mat transfer between shingle 4, between shingle 4 and shingle 3, as well as shingle 4 and shingle 5. It also sustained creasing evidence across all 3 tabs. Shingle 4 is now damaged, must be replaced per Georgia Code 2018 IRC 908.5, which states you cannot reuse damaged aggregate material. Shingle 5 is now damaged as it sustained mat transfer damage between shingle 4 and shingle 5, as well as shingle 5 and the damaged shingle below. It also has evidence of creasing on the rightmost tab. Shingle 5 must be replaced per Georgia Code 2018 IRC, which states you cannot reuse damaged aggregate material. Shingle 6 did not sustain any damage. Shingle 7 did not sustain any damage. So the assessment of this roofing system as far as repairability goes is that for every 1 shingle replaced, an additional 5 shingles can sustain some form of damage from doing the work itself. That is well past the threshold of a roof being repairable. So a full replacement is the only viable option for this roofing system to be returned to pre-loss conditions. Additionally, I want to show the amount of granules that have come off during this assessment in the valley where I've been standing and working. It is excessive. So a sustained repair of over 50 shingles would only cause more damage across this roofing system. We will now tarp the damaged area to prevent any water intrusion that could occur, as we do have rain coming on Sunday. This will conclude the repair assessment for Calandra Williams. Thank you.